Hey guys, it's Christy, and I wanted to talk to you about my project that I worked on for the past 8 weeks. As you know, it was a combination of an old chair. I used clay to create my face, shoulders, arm, and legs, and added paint, wire, a few other things to put it all together. This has been an amazing process for me. I've worked many days, some nights, dreamt about it, almost sick about some things that I couldn't figure out. Just working through the whole process was amazing. I wanted to create something that had contrast as far as a realistic self-portrait as my face went, in contrast with a narrative, some sort of way to tell a visual story about me. And I love the way it turned out. I had a hard time trying to figure out what to not include or how to include it to where it wasn't too much or it went with the other things that I had to work with. But overall, I love it. It's something I'll treasure always. And it was just a wonderful experience. Thank you so much for all your suggestions and comments and encouraging words. So here it goes. So there's my inspiration, Ellie and Ren, and my husband Adam, who's a carpenter and helped make this project possible. Here is the chair getting ready to be a figure. Here is my original idea with the chair and my head and arm and legs sketched out. Here's a love note from my husband. I love its scribbles and it's just so sweet. I had to incorporate it somewhere. This is a picture of me taking a picture of myself in the mirror and just starting to build up the clay face. And I just start by making it 2D first, like you can see in this picture, but then start building it up kind of like a box, just building up the sides, and then start adding on the features and pushing in certain areas. Here is where I think I'm getting close. I got some great suggestions to help me out because I really got stuck at that part. So this next shot you'll see my legs. I've got my head started. Here's some pictures that I was really inspired by. I like the greens, I like the rolling hills. I wanted to incorporate that somehow. So now here's my first initial sketch. I have my heart as a beehive, which actually almost ended up being the only thing that stayed. Here's where I was laying it out on the chair. I have some fabric that I've painted on and stretched it across the top, but it covered most of the chair part. So this was the part that I really focused on, was the heart, and cut that out and tried to figure out how I could keep it within the composition of the rest of my idea as well as the chair. Here again, laying down some color. Then this is a page that I never posted. It's just me trying to reconnect with the idea of having it be a narrative and expressing more of a story rather than just a landscape. So you can see some of my notes on there. This is my stains. I have 4 stains on there that I usually kind of just use to build, and then some underglazes. And then there's a picture of it in the kiln. I knew I would have to fire again, but that's just a little quick shot of that. And then it's 106 out, but the kiln is at 1830. This is something that really started to stick out to me as far as building my idea, and these are just blind contour images that I started sketching out, and I thought that would help to incorporate my idea a little better. So there's me, and I used that for one of my images. Here's another one of me. I had some serious face going on there, but I laid them out onto the chair and really liked how they looked. The little one, 3-year-old, tripped over the legs, and so I had to remake those in the middle of the process. So that took a little extra time. I liked the idea of the aspen because they are all connected with one giant root. It's said to be the biggest plant in the world, possibly. So I really wanted to use that instead of the big tree. Compositionally, it set me free a little bit. So I liked that, and it was also nice to do it really light, so you can see my layers starting to go on really, really light. And then you can see some of my blind contour image in there. This is just another layout shot, still working through some little conflicts and compositionally trying to figure it out. This is the beehive starting. trying to figure out how the wire will work out. And you can also see the maps in the background that I started to work with. I was really attracted to those. Here's my arm. It still needs a second layer. My face, blotchy, but feeling really good about it. It's not too bad. And so I just wanted to add a little bit more solidness to it. So here's my legs. I was really sick about it because I put a map underneath it, kind of trying to do the roots, also tying in the map idea, but it looked really bad. So there was a little bit of a freak out. And then also when I pulled my face out of the kiln, you could see my nice blue eyeshadow there, which was quite scary. So I started sanding, and I did not have time to refire, so when I applied the acrylic paint to the underglaze, it worked out really, really well. Here is a picture of the maps in the back. I darkened them. I also added some darker blues to some areas and was really happy with that, the way they turned out. Here is a couple of still shots of my finished piece. There's just a couple of detail shots here, and then I'm going to go through and talk about each section in the next part. Okay, so there's my face, again, touched up with acrylic. Then this figure at the top, I really wanted to keep light, so I just added a few of the same colors that I've added in other places and tried to keep the original blind contour lines. I attached that with Super 77 spray adhesive. I love that stuff. And then here's my heart. I had my husband drill holes into the slats of the chair, and that way I could run this thin wire, and then also attach the bees. As you can see them on some of the wires. And then little tiny wires for wings, which was pretty tedious, but well worth it. Then there is some honey drips on the maps. I love the maps because it's just another way to connect with the idea of where are you going and where have you been, and do we even need a map? Here is the figure, blind contour figure. I cut it up and attached it onto the aspen trees, or painted it, I should say. And then I did not outline it. That was one of the questions. I did not outline it in red, but I did add some of the color of the honey onto it. So here is the love note. There is the figure on the bicycle with a little tiny bee on the bicycle. Here is the figure over here of my face, and then the three houses. Only the middle one has roots. And then again, the processes of the legs, remaking them, glazing them, and then going back over them with acrylic. I love the way they turned out. There's just so much depth in them. And then also I like the idea of trying to decide whether it's the roots of the tree, the map, or veins. So there you are. Thank you guys so much.